Hello, my name is Paul from Fastball Games, and I'm here with another Tabletop Spotlight. Today we're working together to cure the world's diseases and save the world in Pandemic. Pandemic is a 2 to 4 player co-op strategy game where you and your team of disaster specialists work together to stop the spread of 4 dangerous diseases across major population centres. You'll be investigating and developing cures along the way, but beware, the game is always against you and your team, and an epidemic can break out at any point. Games take roughly 45 minutes, though with the way games can swing, it can take much longer or be all over in a flash. So how does it all play? Well, at first we'll set up the board, all of the infection markers and trackers, then shuffle the infection cards and reveal the top 3. This will determine which cities are starting off with diseases with 3 cubes. The process is repeated to place 2 more cubes per city and once more for another 1 cube per city. Next, we'll be determining our specialization for the game, which is dealt out at random. Your role could be medic, the dispatcher, the contingency planner, the scientist, the researcher, the operations expert, or the quarantine specialist, all of which have their own special abilities. The dispatcher, for example, can move any player to any city containing another active player. The scientist needs only 4 rather than 5 city cards of the same colour to discover a cure. The quarantine specialist prevents outbreaks and placement of disease cubes in the city they're in or any connected to it directly, and so on. You'll then create the player deck by creating a number of face down piles equal to the chosen difficulty of the game. 4 piles for an intro game, 5 for a standard game, and 6 for the brutal heroic difficulty. Each of these piles shuffle in an epidemic card, which when revealed increases the infection rate and spread of the viruses. Believe me, if you want to see what this game is really all about, play an intro game to get your head around the rules, then go straight to heroic and cower in horror as the infections spread exponentially. Each turn is divided into 3 parts. Take up to 4 actions, draw 2 cards, and infect cities. Actions may include movement, building a research station, treating disease, sharing knowledge with the other players, or discovering a cure. This means that during a turn you're likely to travel all over the board to get precisely where you need, providing you have the right cards to do so. And you'll be constantly making progress and fighting back the pandemic. Research stations can be placed to help develop cures, however only a maximum of 6 stations can be on the board at one time. Treating diseases removes a cube from the city you're in, and if a disease has been cured due to research, cover the disease with the cure token. All cubes of that colour can then be removed in that location. If the last cube of any colour is removed from the board, that disease is eradicated, and players can flip the cure marker to its cancelled side. No more cubes of that colour can be placed on the board. Share knowledge allows people to give or take city cards to other players so long as they are in the same place. And finally, discovering a cure, the true aim of the game. You can discard 5 city cards of the same colour to cure the disease of that colour. If you cure all 4 diseases, you win the game. After taking your actions, you proceed to the draw card step. If you happen to draw an epidemic card, then all hell breaks loose. During an epidemic, the infection rate marker is increased and the card on the bottom of the deck is revealed, having 3 cubes placed on that city, easily undoing all of your hard work in an instant. The epidemic is then intensified by reshuffling all discarded cards and placing them on top of the infection deck. It's rare, but not impossible that you might end up drawing 2 epidemic cards at once, which means the entire nightmare happens twice. Lastly, the infection step. The player reveals a number of infection cards equal to the current infection rate and places 1 cube of its colour onto the matching city. If that city already has 3 cubes on it, an outbreak occurs, meaning that disease cube on that colour spreads to every city connected to that location. This can also cause a chain reaction, making multiple cities cause multiple outbreaks, so be careful of the cards you reveal. There's 3 main ways to lose in Pandemic, and unfortunately they're all easier to achieve than winning. If the outbreak marker reaches the last space, you lose. If the player runs out of disease cubes to place, you lose. If a player cannot draw cards in their draw step because the deck has run out, you guessed it, you lose. For me, Pandemic is the standard bearer for the modern board game. It's fast-paced, it's fun, and you'll undoubtedly make a night out of it. It's been in my library for years, and it's always the first thing I suggest to friends and customers looking to get started with board games. I love its challenge and just how different every game can feel, with the game itself constantly against you, making the looming threat never feeling far away. The theme, the flavour, the artwork, It all just works and comes into a great little package to make what I feel is one of the greatest board games of all time. Pandemic is in stock now at fastfoodgames.co.uk. Links are in the description below.